The last thing I want to touch on is Charlie Brown. Could you tell me the story behind the name for Charlie Brown and just his backstory, I guess?
So Charlie Brown got locked up by the feds. So that's true. Charlie was a street race car in Chicago. It had a nitrous small block in it, and it was owned by some questionable people. Yeah, they street raced it. That's what they did. It was pretty nasty on the streets. Yeah, it had small walk on like two systems. Basically, what happened was they named it Charlie Brown.
Okay.
It was named that when it was street raced. Then the guy that owned it got hemmed up and went to Fed auction, and then another guy bought it from the Fed auction. When that guy bought it from Fed auction, it was already named Charlie Brown. It had a cage in it, whatever, but it was really just a street raced car. That guy had it for a little bit, from what I'm told, and then a guy in Dayton that we got that dragster from too had done some wheeling and dealing and bought it. Well, Heath, our partner, Heath means a lot to me and Brad. When we first started 10 years ago, we did some work on Heath's 69 Camaro, which is sitting out there now. And about a year later, Heath asked if we wanted to go racing with him. And that's what we did. Brad and I had no money. We had a whole lot of can-do, but we had no money. So Heath paid for everything. I drove the car, which at the time was a love truck. It had a little nitrous small block in it. And anyway, we did that for a while. And then in that era of time, that's when Heath bought Charlie. So he's seen Charlie for sale, and Heath really loves weird things. He's got that other four-door out there. And he sent it to me, and he's like, I got to have this thing. So we rode up and looked at it. He actually traded a blower motor. It was like a small block Chevy blower. It was actually out of the love truck with this chrome blower on it. Traded that, a little bit of cash, and we got Charlie. We didn't know that his name was Charlie when we got him. We actually were going to call the car Leroy Brown, I think is what we were going to call it. But one of these guys from Chicago seen that Heath had the car, and he messaged him, was like, hey, that car's name's Charlie Brown. And a car's like a dog, man. You can't rename him. It just is what it is, know? So his name was Charlie Brown, and Heath, he had some health problems happen when his back. He's an auto body guy, runs his own shop, and so he kind of took a break from racing for a little while. Charlie had went. Heath has another buddy that does some chassis work, so Heath always has multiple cars. Well, we would work on some stuff. This guy would work on other stuff, and that guy was back half in Charlie. That's a whole long deal, but this dude basically vanished, and Heath called me. I don't know, I guess that's been 4 or 5 years ago now, and he's like, this guy's left town. Charlie's at his shop with nothing, from the main hoop back, there's not a lot. I don't think that I want to race anymore. And he's like, I might just sell it. But he's like, it's not worth anything. And I'm like, well, man, you can't sell that. I love that car. And he's like, well, you can just have it. I don't think I'll want to race again. Just, you take the car. It's got my big block in it. You can race it like that. And that's when No Prep was really coming around. So, yeah, Heath had the car brought up to our shop. We back-halved it, started racing it with the 598. Heath was basically at every race because he's ready to go racing again. Now he's tamed back a little bit. He's got some business stuff going on. But yeah, so Heath's still part owner of the car. Technically him, me, and Brad all own it. So, we're not sure who owns what at this point. But yeah, that's kind of it. His name was Charlie, and
okay.
Brandon, that is I can't talk. Jake's dad. He's the one that painted Charlie with a nitrous bottle. That was on the dash. Unfortunately, we can no longer use that. So, yeah, we got in trouble for using Charlie Brown's. Yeah, so if you want, there will be no more Charlie Brown with nitrous bottle shirts. So if you have one of them, yeah, that's it. We got in trouble for that. So, yeah. Which I feel like a good accomplishment that we sold enough T-shirts that they're like, hey, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Tight.
Yeah. Didn't notice.
Yeah.
All right. So I've seen the videos. Charlie Brown does have a new engine in him here pretty recently.
Yep.
What's
Charlie's got what they call a 5-inch bore space motor. Those are actually pretty old engines. Late 90s, early 2000s is where they kind of came around. So a nitrous engine, a lot of times people think because Charlie's engine's so big that it makes so much horsepower. It does make a lot of horsepower, but it's not boosted horsepower. It's not. So what happened was with because nitrous used to be your primary power adder. Mm-hmm. There is a formula that you use that basically the size of the engine, it will only ingest a certain amount of nitrous. So the only way to make it ingest more nitrous is to make it bigger. That's what you do. So the 5-inch engine was the first rendition of them making bigger nitrous engines. So this motor that's in the car is relatively new. The one that we had a 5-inch motor in it before, but it was really old. It was from Gene Fulton. Heath had it sitting around. I mean, that thing, I called Gene. He said it was like 25 years old. It was old. I mean, raggedy. I mean, it beat a lot of people, but it was raggedy. So this motor's a little nicer. It's 774 cubic inch. So it makes around 1,400 horsepower on engine. And then we spray on a good racetrack about 1,000. So it makes 2,400-ish horsepower, which sounds like a lot, but like a good twin turbo big block, I make 3,500. Mm-hmm. A twin turbo Hemi car, gosh, man, they're like, I mean, there's some of them that are almost 5,000. I mean, you guys saw Cleetus's car in the dyno, right? Like, I forget what it made, but like, Charlie makes a lot of horsepower, but it's really nothing in comparison to, even a good 540 big block with twins will make a lot more power than what that thing does. So it's just really big.
That's what she said. Don't you dare.
All right.
It is the sexiest way to go on the racetrack, though. If we're going with that's what she said, I think nitrous racers have the prettiest wives. So we're nothing cooler than a car going on the racetrack with flames hanging out. Yeah.
What is Charlie's fastest time?
So on a radial, the cars are a lot faster on radials. It's been a 420 on a radial at like 175. So in the quarter mile, which we did do that at Cleetus's deal, it went a 665 at 208, I think. So I'm excited to run it at quarter mile again. And we actually have an idea of how fast we can go in the 8th. We just haven't been able to put it together. I think 4.0s is really a realm of real possibility on the radial. I do think we can get it to go 390s with this engine combo. It just will be, the stars will have to align. Like, it's going to have to be a near perfect pass to do it. As far as the quarter mile stuff, we have quite a bit left in the tank. When we were at Cleetus's deal, we were only spraying 2 systems. Our fastest 60 foot all night was like 111. It's been 104. So we got quite a bit of steam left, which we're going to need it. I think that this next year at the Christmas tree race, I think that they're going to bring some fast stuff, because he told us we were invited again, but I don't think that they'll come not prepared, right?
Yeah. So. Did I see that? Did they say that pass was the fastest at the Christmas tree drags?
Yeah, it's the fastest ever. I will say it's really cool, like, because Charlie's kind of always been a no time car. right before the Christmas tree race, we lit the boards at an 8th mile race, and there was a lot of people that weren't surprised how fast it was, but your average fan, I think, was really, they didn't know. But what's really even more interesting is like when we were at Cleetus' deal and we went like a 34 or 35 to the 8, so 435, 434, so which is almost 2/10 slower than what we had been to the 8th, and but seeing that quarter mile light come on and it go over 200, I think a lot of people were really surprised by that. The average viewer, right? Like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of people that weren't surprised that it went that fast because they're very, they're drag racing enthusiasts through and through. But if I picked on you as an average enthusiast, you probably didn't think that thing would go 200 mile an hour. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, so that was really cool. It was really cool. And we went with a plan, man. Like, we never leave without a plan. We were fairly confident we could win it. We really wanted to go faster than what we did. It just, a nitrous car running it to the quarter, it obviously lived, it did fine, but we didn't want to lean on it more than we had to because you're trying to make it, race it as much as you can.
Yeah.
So next time we go, I don't know if we'll have that attitude. It might just be more, let's see how fast we can go. So,
yeah.
But
I got you. Give it all that it has. Don't hold back. Just don't go to win, but go for
just to see how fast.
you can go.
Yeah, and the Christmas tree is weird, man. Like it would start chattering the tires at about 1,000 foot, and I do think it was the air going around the tree that kind of made it still drove fine, but it was literally shaking the tires at 200 mile an hour. Like, it is kind of wild. But yeah, it was a really fun event. I really enjoyed hanging out with Garrett, getting to know him. James drove the car the night before because I was at Disney, and we have, we know those. I'm not gonna say we're best friends with those guys, but we know them, right? Farner that works here, him and James are actually really tight. That's kind of how we got that connection of James driving the car. But it was great to get to know them a little bit more and kind of see how they do things down there and be a part of it. It was really interesting. So, yeah. Weird event. It was fun, but it was weird for us because we're so focused on racing and winning, and that event is not that.
Yeah.
It's just not. So,
yeah,
it was fun.
You usually don't strap a Christmas tree to the roof of your car to try
no,
to win
you don't.
And go faster.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most notable win that Charlie Brown has since you've had him?
I think for the world, if our content wise, it would be the Christmas tree race. We're gonna come back, and you can try to take this from us. It's gonna be hard. You better have a bigger. Racing wise, though, as far as like toughness of the field, this and that, no. Let's see. The win that probably meant the most to me personally, we'll do it that way, was Gangster's Paradise last year. It was at Wagler Motorsports Park. There was a lot of fast guys there. It was the night before, I felt like we really had the car to beat. We were making some really solid laps. And I didn't turn the nitrous valve on all the way. And we were racing Frankenstein in the vet. And, man, that car's fast, right? Like, they're really good at what they do. They win a lot as well. Like, they're good racers. But I just felt like we had their goose cooked that night, and I made a dumb mistake. That was dumb. Like I turned it on, so my handle actually goes backwards. I turned it and it went like 3/4. Well, what happens on the valve is it let enough nitrous through to purge, but the position of the valve, it wasn't letting nitrous flow through. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was like here instead of here.
Yeah.
And I took that hard because like I got down to the end of the racetrack and Isaac, I know the Prestons pretty well, and Isaac, man, he's like, what happened? And I lied to him, and I should have done that. That was dumb. I'm like, I don't know, something wrong with the car, but I already knew that I just couldn't face it. Because that was hard because you feel like you let everybody down. Like that is the pressure of the driver, of we can do everything right leading up to that. And that's kind of drag racing, is you got to be perfect every lap. But to know that we had the car and not do it really sucked. But the next day we totally redeemed ourselves, which was cool. And like the whole team, they all made signs and, don't forget to turn nitrous on. Jimmy Dale made one, said, I like my Charlie with nitrous. My friend's daughter was there, so she was the one that was making all the signs.
I think I actually seen that sign of that. I like my Charlie with nitrous.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's good to know the story.
Yeah.
Of seeing that and what that meant.
Yeah, and like everybody, and it kind of, that even in life, like that's the deal. Like you're gonna mess up. How fast can you regain focus and move forward? That's the thing. And we woke up the next day. We actually had a pit bike race, which I love pit bikes. Jeremy Wagler's boys let me ride one of their bikes, and I had a good time. I cleared my head, rode the motocross track, and we clocked back in and went to work, and we beat the vet, and we ran them in the semis, and it was a really good race. It was really good, and Isaac was actually sick. He got food poisoning, he thought. So Adam was driving the vet, his brother, which Adam's a very good driver. I probably know Adam a little bit better though. So, we're down at the end of the racetrack, and, it was one of them races we didn't know. I had a pretty good idea that I won, but there's no lights there. It's up the Limpy, and we're standing down there, and he's like, dude, you left, and you were so far ahead of me. He's like, the only thing I seen was these big nitrous flames. And he's like, I'm just driving towards the nitrous flames. And he's like, I'm on the scramble on them on everything. Well, me and Adam are standing down there just waiting. It's just me and him together. And David was there, and his little boy was riding the 110. And I seen his little boy driving the 110 down. And I'm like, there's no way he would drive down here if we lost. Mm-hmm. So just this, you're like, he's going to tell me that we won.
Too close to call. Left lane it is unbelievable, and Frankenstein is taken down tonight.
We and Adam was down here alone. We were like, we have no idea who won. We don't know. Well, guess what, boys? Dang. Good job, boys. You
Nice
too, boys.
job.
Hey, celebrate all you want.
1 and 20. There it is. Got the picture.
Hey, you came down here and
Let's
saved me, bud. Nah, you gotta run, rev it.
Do a wheelie.
Rev it, tackle him in it.
Good job, boys. One more.
So yeah, that it really, we doubled up that night too. Jimmy Dale won True Street, so we got to park both cars in the winner's circle, and we beat the vet, and then the next round we had Trick Daddy, which Zach Jones. That's another car out of the next camp, which they're fast. You like good racers, and they just raced us. They knew exactly how fast we went. So but we got the win that night and got to all celebrate together, and that's what makes the wins the best, man. Is what I'm enjoying now about the editing process is, as the driver, you're not on the starting line, which sucks, because that energy and like watching everybody celebrate, that is the best, man.
I've seen some videos of Charlie Brown, and there is a lot of energy on that starting line. I mean, there is a lot of energy.
Left lane, it is unbelievable, and Frankenstein is taken down tonight.
So yeah, that has to be enjoyable for you, like you said, when you're going back and editing and just seeing that, knowing that that's you in the car and what everybody behind you there is doing.
Yeah. Well, that's the deal, man. Like, if you're going racing and you're by yourself, it's just not that cool. Mm-hmm. But, when you have this starting line full of people that love each other and you're there for this common goal, and you know what? Like, there's a lot of races that don't go our way, and we still have a really good time. Mm-hmm. It can't, like, the goal is to win for sure, but the atmosphere that we create is the most important part. Like, I don't have to rev the car up like I do. I don't have to do that. Like, Brad actually would prefer if I didn't. But that's the whole, we're there to put on a show. And I think at some places, drag racers have forgot about that. They forgot that we're the show. Like, revving the car up and Poland doing this, about falling out of his wheelchair, and Happy humping the air, like. That's funny, and that's the best, people get excited to watch that happen, and that kind of, like, we're not crap talkers. Like, I respect what Stevie Fast does and how he does it, and he's always picking on people, and, that's how he gets the excitement. I don't fault him for that. I'm just not made like that. I'm not good at car. I don't want to talk crap. I want the car to do it, So our way that we put on a show is, our burnout's probably a little longer than the person next to us. I'm probably going to clear it out a few more times. Like, I might purge it a little bit more than I really need to, just because we're there to put on a show.
What have been some difficulties that you all faced with Charlie Brown? That's not you not turning on the nitrous bottle.
Yeah, that it's a 4-door nitrous car. Nitrous is the worst way to do it. There's some benefits to it. It power manages really well. There's some stuff that for sure is some benefits, but it's just not the best way to do it. That motor, Heath always describes it like this: a nitrous engine is an athlete, and that athlete is always hurt in some way. And it's true. You're always like band-aiding something because the motor's not 100% healthy, just because it's violent. Mm-hmm. It's violent horsepower. And you really got to dot your dot all your I's and cross your T's. You know, like we're constantly checking the weather. Like with the weather, we have a weather station on Charlie, and the weather's on my dash. So like, you know, when the weather swings, man, like that's a big deal. You can burn the thing up just because of that. So the thing that is its biggest weakness is what makes it the coolest, you know, and it's not like I'll read comments and people call it a pro mod or they'll do whatever. I'm like, man, you're so uneducated. Like, like that car, I think what makes it awesome, which even gives me fear of building a new car, is Charlie's really relatable. You know, like you look at it, it's got a factory firewall in it. It's got factory style front suspension. It's just all TRZ parts. Like it's really pretty basic. Like the engine is in a terrible location to run no prep with. We really needed to cut the firewall out, move it back, do all this stuff. But it's like, well, when does it stop being Charlie? You know? So that's something I think about a lot, you know, and I don't think I want to cut it up anymore. We are going to do some different things with the engine. It will always be a nitrous car at heart, but we are going to do some stuff with the engine. Just kind of, we're preparing for our new car. So I'll kind of leave it at that, but we are preparing for our new car. I'll tell you what it is off camera, but.
Look at that. That one's new. That is nice.
Yeah, and some people will probably be sad about it a bit, but it's always going to go back to what it is. It's just, we got to make moves in the right direction for the racing program. So
I got you.
But yeah, so engine location, the type of engine that it is, it's actually not very heavy anymore. Like I think that we did a good job of getting it light. Like with no weight in it, it's like 2650. And that's radial trim, so that's heavy on the nose, ready to go down a radial racetrack. We can't no prep it like that because the weight bias is wrong. So it's fairly light now.
Okay.
But yeah, so I can't blame the weight anymore.
All right, and the last thing I have about Charlie Brown is if you could sum up Charlie Brown in one word, what would that be?
That's a tough one. What would I sum up for? Dang. And I'll have to put a valve in front of it, but a party.
And I like to party. All right.
A party, nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
You sure I've partied before? No, Kevin, I know for a fact you don't party, okay? You do not party. You're right. Dave's the party guy.
Sweet.